Hello, and welcome to some notes on solving quadratics by square roots. The main reason when you should recognize to use this method is when you only have one x in the equation. So like if I zoom in on these two equations I have here, you see there's only one x in the equation. Or here there's only one x. There's no other x in the equation. A lot of quadratic formulas have something like x squared plus through 2x plus 3 equals 0. So there you'd have two x's. So you're not going to use this method. Only when there's one. Only when there's one x in the equation. So let's jump right into it. So how you solve these when you realize there's only one x is you're really doing the reverse order of operations and solving the equation. So you're looking at, for number one, we're looking at, we have an addition and we have a square. You're looking at reverse order of operations. So remember thinking your parentheses, exponents, then multiplication, division, then addition, subtraction. So addition and subtraction is at the very end. So if you see addition or subtraction, we have to take care of that first. So we have to subtract 5, and really what you're doing here is you're getting like terms together. So that's 98. And now we only have one other operation left, and that's square, and the opposite operation of a square is square root. Now when you square root anything, and teachers do a bad job of this, but anytime you square root something, there's a positive and a negative, because if you take a negative squared, it will become a positive. So you have to do a plus minus with it. Square and square root simplify, and you get a plus minus the square root of 98. We think we're done, but we got to take a look at square root of 98 and see if we can simplify this. So you think, what two numbers multiply to 98? Well, I know it's divided by 2. That's 2 times 49. 2 is a prime number. 49 is 7 times 7. Those are prime. And it's a square root. Think it's square root. So a little 2 there. So you're looking for pairs. So square root of 98 is the same thing as 7, because of the pair of 7s. And the 2 is left over, so underneath this. So square root of 2. So we're actually going to rewrite this and simplify the square root of 98 to plus minus 7 square root of 2. All right, example 2. So here we have a couple more steps to the problem. All right, example 2, we have an addition. So we have an addition, we have a multiplication, and a square. So we have to think about order of operations. What's the last thing you would do in order of operations? And that'd be addition, subtraction. So we take care of that first. So we subtract 10. And then order of operations, as you're working the reverse order, would you do multiplication or exponents first? So what I'm thinking about, PEMDAS. So addition, subtraction first. We already did that. We subtracted the plus 10. Then there's multiplication, division. So we got to divide by 64. 9 over 64. And then if there's exponents, we'd work with exponents. So square root. And remember the plus minus anytime you square root. Again, teachers are pretty not great at explaining that early on. Square root of a fraction. When you square root a fraction, really what you're doing is you're square root in the numerator and square root in the denominator. Well, square root of 9, we're looking at that. Square root of 9 is 3. So the numerator is 3. Square root of 64 is 8. So this actually works out to be a positive 3/8 and a negative 3/8. That's it. All right, example 3. So this is a little bit different. All right, so we have addition, subtraction. I see that. I see addition. I see a multiplication over on the left. I see an exponent, and I see then parentheses. So there's a lot going on with this problem, but we're just doing reverse order of operations. So if you see addition or subtraction outside of the parentheses, so parentheses just mean we're going to rework the order of operations inside the parentheses once we get to that. So, but we have to uncover that first, the parentheses. So we subtract 1. So we get 3. Then on the outside of the parentheses, we still have a multiplication, we still have a square. We're going to take care of the multiplication or division first. Move that. And now we have a square to uncover the reason why the parentheses are there is because of the square. So we need to square root both sides. And when you square root, you have plus minus. We have now x minus 5. And inside the parentheses, let's see here, square root of 1 is 1. Inside the parentheses, you'd start order of operations over again. So if you have addition or subtraction, you'd work that, then multiplication, and you just would start it over. In this case, we have a plus 5. So this is where we're going to have, it's going to be, we have the plus minus 1, maybe before we do the plus 5. I'm going to break this into two problems. We have x minus 5 equals positive 1. And the reason why I'm going to break it up into two is because if you add 5 to a positive 1, you get a different answer, and add 5 to negative 1, you get a different answer. So I'm going to split it up with the plus minus. The plus is a positive 1. The minus is the negative 1. And I'm going to solve both problems. So you add 5, and you get x equals 6 as an answer. And add 5, you get x equals 4 as an answer. So both of them are now your answers. So you have two answers, like all quadratics have two different answers. All right, down below we have a bonus problem. So if you'd like to pause it right now and try this out, go ahead, and I will solve it in a little bit. All right, so we're doing the exact same steps as we did before. So you look on the outside of the, see parentheses, I see a plus, I see a times, and a square. So we got to think reverse order of operations. So subtract 4. We got a negative, divide by 3. It's looking very similar to that last problem. X minus 5 squared equals negative 1. Then we have to square root it. Square root. We have x minus 5. Don't forget the plus minus when you square root. Plus minus, so it's the square root of negative 1. Well, that's I. That's pretty wild. So a square root of negative 1 turns into an I. Then you can add 5 and add 5. And we get our final answer, let me bring it up here, is x equals a positive plus minus I plus 5. Or 5 plus minus, or you could write it this way, 5 plus minus I. Either way. Cool. Thanks. Come to class with any questions.